Real YouTubers have an intro with some cool animations that look something like this. Okay, here we are. Welcome back to Video. It's me, Video Man. So, first of all, we're getting really close to 200k. Thank you so much to everyone who's watching the videos, and thank you to everyone who's subscribing as well. We're really, really close. Probably going to be at 198,000 today, so yeah, thank you guys. This is really incredible, and I really want you to know I appreciate you all, and I hope everyone's taking care of themselves as best you can during this quarantine period. I know it's not easy for anyone, I think, but I hope you all are taking care of yourselves. So anyway, with that out of the way, this is actually a video idea suggested to me by Pokeaim, and I thought it was really interesting, and, you know, Pokeaim generally has good ideas, and this is one of them. Basically, here's something that maybe if you started with Sword and Shield or you haven't played Pokemon in a while competitively, you might not realize, but a lot of moves were actually removed from the game going into Sword and Shield. So, what you see before you is Cerebi.net, my personal favorite Pokemon site, and except for youtube.com/WolfeyVGC. And it's a list of all moves that were removed from the game. So if we look through these really quickly, we can see a lot of these are Z moves, which are, you know, moves that are specific to Z crystals, which are no longer in the game, which makes sense, right? You're not going to have this move in the game without the Z crystal. However, there's some other moves as well that are interesting. Well, okay, there's some moves that were like Let's Go exclusive, like Baddie Bad. Thankfully, that was removed, only for the sake of my dignity, because I don't know how I'd be able to tell my friends watching a stream that I lost because I missed a Baddie Bad. Yeah, so thank you, Pokemon, for removing those moves for the sake of my dignity. But there's a couple other moves as well. Now, some of these moves are not especially good, like Barrage. And some of them are moves that weren't seen super often, but were used kind of only in gimmicky strategies, like Assist. Some of them were kind of good, though. So Barrier, for example, gives you +2 defense stat. Never really saw a ton of play, but with Body Press, it might have been able to this season. Bestow is a move that had cool potential. It passes an item to the target. Not a super good move. Bide was never really any good, etc., etc. I'm just going to go through this list because there's one move in particular that I would like to talk about, right? Because the one move that they removed, there's a couple moves like that I think they that I understand why they removed. Wait, is Assist really not in the game? Oh, it is. Yeah, that's right. I'll go through these, and anything interesting that I think I can tell you why they removed, I'll try. I'll take my best guess. However, there's one move in particular that I really want to talk about, which we'll get to in a little bit. So, Assist, I think, was removed because, maybe because of the interaction with max moves, or because of this really, interesting strategy called Dive Cats. Dive Cats is a strategy that uses Liepard and normally Purloin, and uses Assist. And the way that it works is, you basically use Prankster to move first, with Assist. And Assist, you set up the team so that it only calls Dive, or Phantom Force, whichever you prefer. But Dive is funnier. And so Assist moves first. Prankster uses Assist with your Liepard and your Purloin. Then you use Dive and disappear from the field. And then Liepard has Lagging Tail and Purloin has like Iron Ball or something. So then you no longer have Prankster on the second turn of the attack. So you attack last the second turn, whereas you attack first the first turn. And therefore you're like kind of invincible. I think it was actually nerfed in Generation 7, but you could still use it in multi-battles. I think. I forget. They definitely nerfed it at some point because it was, yeah, there was a time where it was like, I feel like it was maybe not broken. I don't remember. Anyway, Assist was probably removed because of the interaction with max moves. Because you obviously can't call a max move with Assist. And so obviously they didn't change Copycat, and Copycat just copies the base move. So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they just didn't want to deal with Assist because it's janky. So yeah. I don't have any idea why Barrage or Barrier or Bestow or Bide were removed. I don't think there's anything interesting there. Bone Club, I don't know. Bouncy Bubble for my dignity. These are Z moves. Bloom Doom is Z moves. Breakneck Blitz is a Z move. Bubble. Baby Bubble just because it's useless. Like, why? Why is Bubble here? I don't know. Buzzy Buzz. Let's Go Pikachu. Camouflage is interesting. I always thought it was a cool move. Like, but yeah, it was removed. Captivate's a little interesting to me. So Captivate is a move that Trailer has been talking about a lot. He's like, I miss Captivate. I almost got knocked out of Nationals in 2012 by a Captivate user. She was really good. I actually should have gotten knocked out of Nationals, and then I really cheesed her. Like, I cheesed her harder than I've cheesed most people. I took her to time in a game that I had no business winning. But yeah, she had Captivate Sableye, which really messed up my team at the time. Chip Away, I never really got to see. I don't know. Maybe I don't know why this one was removed. Clamp. Don't think this was any good. A lot of these moves are just bad. Okay, I'm only going to talk about the ones that are actually interesting. Comet Punch, bad. Constrict, bad. Z move, Z move, Z move, Z move. Dizzy Punch. What's the percentage on Dizzy Punch? 20%. Okay, I mean, I feel like people... No, I feel like Dizzy Punch Mega Kangaskhan could have been a thing, but I don't think it was. It's only a 36% chance to confuse anyway. Double Slap. Iconic move. Really famous Pokemon move, but removed. Dragon Rage is broken in the early game, but I don't think that's why it was removed. Yeah. A lot of these moves are just useless. Egg Bomb was removed. Oh, they removed Embargo. I actually didn't realize. Embargo was a move that, like, I always wanted to use, but it's just not good enough, because the way that Embargo works is, instead of affecting the whole opponent's team, in which case it'd be really good, it actually only affects one Pokemon, and the effect is removed if they switch. So, like, it's kind of like Knockoff, unless Knockoff was, like, so much worse. Feint Attack, not a very good move. They removed Flame Burst, actually, which is interesting. I always felt like this was a move that had potential. However, yeah, I never really got to see much play. Flash, not very good. Floaty Fall, thank goodness. Foresight. They removed Foresight. Interesting. Okay, yeah. I guess, yeah. Frustration and Return are both removed. That's kind of a big one. Yeah. They removed Grass Whistle. I actually didn't realize that. I'm really glad. Grass Whistle is not, like, a good move. It's only ever used in, like, janky situations. And, yeah, it's just better for the game that it's gone. Heal Block, Heal Order. Heal Block was removed. Kind of similar to, oh, I'm sorry. Forgot to mute my phone. Heal Block was, Heal Block is similar to Embargo, in which it's an effect on a Pokemon, not in an opponent's team. And it also is, wait. Is it the entire team? I thought it was one user. Oh, okay, it is the whole team. Okay, well, that actually could have had some play, but it's hard to invest in. In certain formats, you could probably justify it. Maybe this format, but probably, yeah, probably not. Heal Order was Vespiquen's move. I think it was just Vespiquen. Okay, it was probably, that one was probably removed because maybe some of these moves were removed because the only user, like, isn't in the game. Heart Stamp was Swoobet's move. Oh, they removed Heart Stamp. That's sad. Hidden Power. Spoilers. This is the move we're gonna talk about. Ice Ball. I don't know. Ion Deluge. Oh, they removed Ion Deluge. I really like Ion Deluge. Ion Deluge actually had some use in a format with Mega Kangaskhan. It turns all normal type moves to electric type moves. I'm really surprised they removed it. They removed Jump Kick, which is interesting. Probably because it's just a worse tie jump kick. Karate Chop. I don't know. Kinesis. It was a move that never got any usage. It's really terrible. It's an 80% accurate move that lowers the accuracy one stage. That's so bad. Wait, what? Okay, okay. Lucky Chance shields your side from critical hits. That would actually, like, you probably wouldn't use it this format, but in theory, you could use it to stop opposing critical hit token kills. And maybe if Machamp picks up in popularity, you could use it, but it's not in the game. Magnum Bomb and Magnitude are just inferior moves. They're better versions of those moves. Me First. So I think I understand why they use Me First. It probably has to do with the fact that Dynamax moves are in the game. However, it would have been interesting, I think. Me First is a really interesting move. It had some usage in 2017. I think Jamie Boyd used Z-Move. No, it was Z-Mirror move, I think. Z-Mirror move, Tapu Koko. But yeah, Me First, I wanted to use this at some point. It's not very good, but it has some usage. I think there's a famous clip of, like, Talonflame versus Groudon Kyogre, and Talonflame Me First, the Kyogre's Origin Pulse, and KOs the Groudon or something. It's really funny. Meditate, not very good. Miracle Eye, never used. Mirror Move, probably same thing as... So the interesting thing is they removed Me First and Assist in Mirror Move, but I think they forgot Copycat. Mirror Shot, not very good. It's just a worse Flash Cannon. Mud Bomb was removed. Interesting, because they left Mud Shot in the game. Mud Sport was removed. Natural Gift actually had some use. You would use it on Scizor sometimes to beat other Scizor. Basically, Natural Gift will let you eat your berry for, like, a physical Hidden Power type. It's removed for the same reason Hidden Power is removed, which is what we're going to talk about in this video. Although I realize we're already 10 minutes in, but I don't know. Let's just go through the rest of them at this point. Needle Arm, I don't know. Odor Sleuth, they removed both the moves that let you hit immunity mons, which is interesting. Maybe because of the interaction with Dynamax, though I'm actually not sure. Nightmare, not very good. Ominous Wind, I'm not sure why they removed that one. Psywave, Punishment was removed. Maybe because the only user... No, there was definitely users who had Punishment. Yeah, okay, so I don't know why they removed Punishment. Maybe they thought it'd be too powerful. Okay, Punishment is powered up by by every boost. So maybe because of Z moves. I don't really know why they removed Punishment. Pursuit is big in singles, didn't really have an effect in doubles. Rage, Razor Wound, Refresh, Return is a big one. Return is significantly weak against Pokemon like Kangaskhan and Snorlax. which I think is actually for the best, because like having a 100 base power move with no drawback is kind of strong. I always wanted to use Rototiller because it's so funny, but it was not good. Let's see. Secret Power actually had some usage on Kangaskhan. I think it might, like, in Grassy Terrain, it makes the target fall asleep. It was not, like, a lot of usage, but it was kind of gimmicky. I didn't know they removed Signal Beam. That's unfortunate. Bug types do not have that many good bug type moves, but maybe they thought that too many Pokemon had it. Like, yeah, that was, actually, you know what? I bet a lot of these were removed. I bet a lot of these were removed because of Dynamax. Now that I've gone through the whole list, I'm glad I did this. I bet they removed a lot of the weaker moves so that Pokemon would not have access to certain moves in the Dynamax. Because, like, a bunch of Pokemon that weren't bug type learned Signal Beam. Like, Psychic types, for example, learned Signal Beam. And I bet they didn't want that for Z moves. That's probably why it was removed. Skydrop might have just been janky, / probably for Dynamax. Sky Uppercut, whatever. Snatch, I'm really sad is gone. Snatch is an amazing move. I think it definitely top cut Worlds in 2018. I forget who had it. It might have been Paul Ruiz. It might have won the World Championships. I can't remember if it was Paul or Nils. I'm pretty sure one of them had it. The thing about Snatch, I think they probably removed it because when you Dynamax, like, if you went for, like, Dynamax Swords Dance, it would turn into Max Guard, and that might be tricky to code with Snatch, or maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's my only guess. Sonic Boom was like Dragon Rage. It's too overpowered in the early game. Spiderweb, I don't know. Spotlight is removed. That was an interesting move. I don't know why they removed it. I don't know why they removed it. Synchronize never really got into use, unfortunately. Trump Card never really got into use. Twin Needle, Wake Up Slap, Water Sport, Ring Out. Okay, cool. So basically what we're going to talk about this video, is Hidden Power. So, I know we're already 11 minutes into the video and I haven't talked about the topic of the video. But I'm sorry. This is my channel. This is how I operate. But, okay, this is what I think is really interesting. This is what Joey suggested I talk about. Hidden Power. So, Hidden Power was removed from the game. Hidden Power went through 3 major changes. The way it originally worked is, it's a move that has no type. It's a 70 base. It was a 70 base power move in Generation 6, I think. Maybe Generation 5. Generation 5, it was a 70 base power move. No. It was a variable base power move. So depending on the IVs of your Pokemon, when I first started playing, Hidden Power would have at most 70 base power and could have less as well. And the move could be any type. So if you wanted a specific Hidden Power, you could not have perfect IVs. If you had all perfect IVs, you'd have Hidden Power Dark. The move went up to 70 base power and and it was learned by a lot of Pokemon. So basically, it let almost any Pokemon have any one move of any type, but only one at a time. In Generation 5, there were no Fairy types, so when Hidden Power, moved to Generation 6, because of how it works with IVs, no longer I'm sorry, no longer is not what I wanted to say. Fairy type was not added, because basically that would imply that something could have Hidden Power like Fire in Generation 5 and then Hidden Power Fairy in Generation 6, so I think that they just decided it was easier to leave it and, not update the Hidden Power type. So, Hidden Power was still based on the IVs in Generation 6, however, the power was not based on the IVs. The power was fixed at base power 60, so it no longer was a 70 base power move, it was now a 60 base power move, and I'm pretty sure that Z moves couldn't be used off of Hidden Power. I've forgotten. I guess that's a Generation 7 thing, but yeah. In Generation 7, Hidden Power remains at 60 base power. However, it's also based on the base IVs of a Pokemon. You can't bottle... Wait, could you bottle cap in Generation 7? I actually forgotten. I'm mostly sure you could. I have memories of doing it. Yeah, you could. It was based on the base IVs of the Pokemon. So, for example, let's say I wanted 31 IV in attack for Hidden Power type. I would not be able to update that at all. So, yeah. In Generation 8, the final change is that Hidden Power was removed. So, why was Hidden Power removed, and why was this a very important decision? So, to think about Hidden Power, we first have to think about other moves that turn normal type moves into other types. Biggest example is Sylveon, or Primarina, who turns, Sylveon, the biggest example is Sylveon, actually, who turns normal type moves into fairy type moves with his ability Pixelate. Basically, if you Dynamax your Sylveon and you go for Max Strike, the game will turn it into Max Starfall, which is really interesting. In theory, hidden power could have stayed in the game because, like, what you could do is you could say, okay, if you Dynamax your Pokemon and you have hidden power, it won't change type, which is, spoiler, the real reason why I think it's good that hidden power was removed, because you could not have, giving any Pokemon that learned hidden power, which is almost all Pokemon, access to any Dynamax move would be terrible. It would be so bad, for the metagame. It would just be awful. Like, any Pokemon could boost any stat, and that would be, like, terrible. In theory, you could have left hidden power in the game and just made it max strike. However, I think it's good that they removed it anyway. Because, yeah, like, it's just, I don't think it's a great move for competitive balance. Like, in theory, like, hidden power was never a move people really complained about. But I don't think it was necessarily great for the game, personally. This is just my opinion. I don't think it was super great for the game. Some Pokemon like Kartana, for example, were extremely weakened by hidden power. People would run Scarf, Hidden Power, Fire on things. Pokemon like Groudon would be OHKO'd by random water moves when people would pair it with Kyogre. So Hidden Power, Pokemon like Groudon would be KO'd by random water type hidden powers from Pokemon that you wouldn't really expect. Like, Marcus and I had a video back in the day where we had Hidden Power Water Gengar, Mega Gengar. We trapped the opponent in with Mega Gengar and then bring in Kyogre. And Hidden Power Water Mega Gengar did well, I think, at the World Championships in 2016. So, yeah. Random hidden power moves, or random type, like, move types were used just in general to, I don't know, like, really, really mess up certain Pokemon, especially Pokemon with 4 times weaknesses, and it forces the game to become kind of like a guessing game, like, oh, like, my Pokemon is on the field here, and, like, normally it beats the, you know, like, normally my Heatran would beat the opponent's Charizard Y, because they would only have Fire and Grass moves, but then they might have Hidden Power Ground, right? Or a lot of Pokemon would run random Hidden Power Ice to beat Landorus Therian form. So, I don't know. Like, it's just like, a lot of the Pokemon that I've mentioned, Hidden Power was used as a tech move to counter because they were really good and really strong. However, the fact that, like, it turned any Pokemon into a potential counter as long as it got an attack off, I don't think is very healthy for the game, personally. So I'm really glad they removed it for that reason. Now we can talk about what would have happened if Hidden Power was allowed in the game, and, worst case scenario, you could use it to Dynamax and get any type, or whatever type your Hidden Power was. I think it'd be really bad. You could have Pokemon that don't learn, like, poison moves, for example. Like, you could have Max Poison Sylveon boosting a special attack and the special attack of its partners. You could have Pokemon that really want, like, to set a weather or to boost a defensive stat. Like, you could have that. You could have Max Steel Weakness Policy Togekiss, for example, to beat other Togekiss with Hidden Power. Or you could just have, I don't know, like, you could have Max Steel Crit Togekiss, you know? And assuming, I think most 60 base power moves turn into 110 base power when they're Dynamax. That's still a really powerful move, right? That's almost as strong as, like, Choice Specs Flash Cannon on your Togekiss, you know? And so, yeah. Like, the possibilities are almost endless because you can, you know, learn, 16, 17 different moves, and yeah, I just don't think it would be very healthy for the game at all to have that mechanic in play, because also Dynamax is kind of hard to deal with, you know, from a defensive standpoint because of the increased power, and when you add the perfect coverage moves, it becomes really difficult, in my opinion. So, yeah, I was originally going to, like, anticipated spending longer talking about specific examples and, like, specifically why, but I kind of feel like I've made my point and I don't need to ramble on. I think it's pretty clear why giving every Pokemon any coverage move of its choice is, like, already an issue, and then when you consider Dynamax on top of that, I think it would have probably made the metagame really, really volatile and in a way that's not especially fun. And, you know, I just have only spent, like, 5 minutes thinking about the possible combinations, and I've already thought of some that I think are pretty dangerous. Like, you could run Max Ooze Togekiss, you know. For example, you could have a Pokemon that could boost, you could run Max Flying on Pokemon that don't normally have a Flying type coverage move, you know? So yeah, even aside from Dynamax, I think Hidden Power being removed from the game is a good thing. It just doesn't promote interesting gameplay. I think it promotes catching people off guard with a strange coverage move, and as a player, like, that's also one more thing you always have to consider. Like, oh, I'm in a good spot here, but what if they have a random Hidden Power? And I think the fact that we don't have to deal with that is overall a net positive for the way that we play the game, and that's not even considering, like, assuming you could make that random 60 base power coverage move into a much stronger one, right? Because now Hidden Power, and this is the real thing, like I mentioned, Hidden Power was primarily used to combat Pokemon with 4 times weaknesses, like Kartana and Landorus were the big ones, but people would run it for Heatran as well, and You wouldn't really run it for Tyranitar that much, I think. Although, actually, I won Nationals and Regionals with it. But then again, it wasn't for Tyranitar because there was no Tyranitar because it was 2011. But anyway, I was thinking of Hidden Power Fighting. Yeah, like, primarily it was for 4x super effective mons. But, like, the thing is, if you have a 110 base power Hidden Power, then that is effectively, anything that's 2 times is effectively 4 times, you know? And so, yeah, basically, it would really, really be a super strong move, even aside from the secondary effects of Dynamax and the beneficial effects of Dynamax. It would still be a really powerful move. So, all in all, I think it's for the best that it's not in the game, and I hope you guys can understand why. That's my opinion, though. If you disagree, that's fine. Anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. These were the moves that have been removed from the game, and why I think Hidden Power is really, really good that it was removed. But I think that's all I want to say about that. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.